The snow fell gently on the city streets, transforming the December evening into something almost magical. The Christmas lights strung along the buildings cast warm pools of gold and amber across the sidewalks where last-minute shoppers hurried past, their arms full of packages and their faces bright with anticipation. Harrison Cole sat alone at a small table outside the cafe, nursing a cup of coffee that had long since gone cold. At 41, he was the CEO of one of the most successful tech companies in the country, a man whose name appeared regularly in business journals and whose opinions moved markets. He wore an expensive charcoal suit that fit him perfectly, his dark hair styled in a way that suggested both success and careful attention to detail. He had everything most people dreamed of: a penthouse apartment with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city, a car that cost more than most houses, investments that would keep him comfortable for several lifetimes, success beyond measure. And yet, as Christmas Eve approached, Harrison found himself sitting alone on a street corner, watching other people celebrate, while he had nowhere to go and no one waiting for him. His parents had passed away years ago within months of each other, leaving him an only child with no immediate family. His ex-wife had left him 5 years earlier, tired of coming second to his work, tired of the long hours and missed anniversaries and the way he checked his phone during dinner. She'd remarried last year to a teacher, someone who would be home for dinner every night. And Harrison had seen the wedding announcement on social media and felt nothing, just emptiness. He had colleagues, certainly, people who respected his business acumen, who sought his advice, who valued his leadership. But friends? Real friends who called just to see how he was doing, who remembered his birthday, who invited him to their homes. Those had fallen away over the years, casualties of his single-minded focus on success. So here he was on Christmas Eve, sitting outside a cafe because going back to his empty apartment felt unbearable. He'd told himself he was just taking a break from holiday shopping, but the truth was he had no one to shop for. The gifts he'd ordered for his employees had been handled by his assistant, wrapped and delivered without his involvement. Harrison watched a family pass by, parents holding hands, children laughing, everyone bundled against the cold and glowing with happiness. He felt something twist in his chest. This was his life now. Success and solitude, achievement and emptiness. He was about to stand up, to return to the office where at least work would distract him, when a small voice interrupted his thoughts. "Mister, why are you sitting all alone?" Harrison looked down to find a little girl standing beside his table. She couldn't have been more than 4 years old, with blonde curls escaping from beneath a knit hat. She wore a dark gray coat over a red dress, and in her arms she clutched a brown teddy bear that looked well-loved and well-worn. "Hello?" Harrison said, automatically scanning the area for a parent. "Where's your family?" "Right there!" The girl pointed to a woman about 30 feet away, loading shopping bags into the trunk of an old car. "That's my mommy." "I'm Emma. What's your name?" "Harrison." "That's a very fancy name," Emma said seriously. "Are you waiting for someone?" "No, I'm just having coffee." "All by yourself? On Christmas Eve?" Emma's blue eyes were wide with what looked like genuine concern. "That's very sad." Harrison felt his throat tighten unexpectedly. "It's fine. I'm fine. Mommy says that nobody should be alone on Christmas. She says Christmas is about family and love and being together." Emma tilted her head, studying him with the frank assessment only children possess. "Do you have a family?" "Not really," Harrison admitted, surprising himself with his honesty. "Then you should come have party at my place," Emma announced, as if this solved everything. "We're having turkey and pie, and Mommy made cookies that look like Christmas trees. You can come." Before Harrison could respond, the woman Emma had pointed to approached, looking apologetic and slightly worried. "Emma, I told you to stay by the car." "I'm so sorry, sir," she said to Harrison. "My daughter has no sense of stranger danger. Come on, sweetie, let's not bother this man." "But Mommy, he's all alone on Christmas. We have to invite him." The woman, Emma's mother, looked at Harrison properly for the first time, and he saw her take in his expensive suit, his polished appearance, the aura of success that clung to him like cologne. Her expression became more guarded. "I'm sure this gentleman has plans, Emma." "He doesn't. He said he doesn't have family." Harrison saw the woman's face change, sympathy warring with suspicion. He understood. He was a stranger, well-dressed but alone, And her daughter had just revealed he had no family. It probably looked suspicious. "It's all right," Harrison said, standing. "Emma was just being kind. I appreciate the thought. But I'm sure your family has their own celebration planned." "It's just us," Emma said. "Me and Mommy and Grandma Rose. But Mommy says 3 is a party. So 4 would be an even better party." "Emma," her mother said, torn between teaching her daughter generosity and protecting her from a stranger. Harrison looked at this woman, really looked at her for the first time. She was probably in her early 30s, with the kind of tired eyes that spoke of long days and hard work. Her coat was threadbare, her jeans worn, her boots scuffed. But she carried herself with dignity, and when she looked at her daughter, her face transformed with love. "I'm Harrison Cole," he said, extending his hand. "I promise I'm not dangerous, just a workaholic with no social life. Your daughter took pity on me." The woman hesitated, then shook his hand. Her grip was firm despite her small hand. "Jennifer Banks. And yes, my daughter has a habit of adopting strays. Last week it was a cat. This week apparently it's you." Harrison surprised himself by smiling. "I've been called worse things." Jennifer studied him for a long moment, and Harrison saw the moment she made her decision. Maybe it was the loneliness she saw in his eyes. Maybe it was the Christmas spirit. Maybe it was just that her daughter was looking up at her with such hope. "All right," she said finally. "Our apartment isn't fancy, and dinner won't be anything special. But you're welcome to join us if you really have nowhere else to be." "Mommy, really?" Emma bounced with excitement. "Really? But Mr. Cole might not want to." "I'd love to," Harrison heard himself say. "If you're sure it's not an imposition." "It's Christmas Eve," Jennifer said simply. "Nobody should be alone." And that's how Harrison Cole, CEO of a multi-million-dollar company, found himself following a beat-up Honda Civic across town to a neighborhood he'd never been to, carrying a teddy bear that Emma had insisted he hold, while she helped her mother with the shopping bags. Jennifer's apartment was in an older building, the kind that had character but needed updating. The elevator was broken, so they climbed 3 flights of stairs, Emma chattering the entire way about what they were going to do at the party and how. Mr. Harrison was going to love Grandma Rose's pie. The apartment itself was small but warm, decorated with obvious care despite limited resources. A Christmas tree stood in the corner, handmade ornaments and strings of lights making it beautiful despite its modest size. The furniture was old but clean, and everywhere Harrison looked, he saw signs of love, photos of Emma at various ages, drawings hung on the refrigerator, books piled on shelves. An older woman appeared from the kitchen, wiping her hands on an apron. She had gray hair and kind eyes, and she looked at Harrison with surprise. "Mom, this is Harrison Cole. Emma invited him for dinner." "Harrison, this is my mother, Rose." Rose's eyebrows went up, but she recovered quickly. "Well then, welcome, Harrison. The more the merrier. Emma, go wash your hands. Dinner's almost ready." As Emma scampered off, Rose gave Harrison a measuring look. "I raised my daughter to be cautious about strangers. I assume you have a good explanation for how you ended up here?" "Your granddaughter found me feeling sorry for myself outside a cafe," Harrison said honestly. "She decided I needed rescuing." "Emma has a big heart," Rose said. "Sometimes bigger than her common sense." "Jennifer, you sure about this?" "He's alone on Christmas, Mom. What was I supposed to do?" Rose nodded slowly. "All right then. Harrison, I hope you like turkey." Dinner was nothing like the business dinners Harrison usually attended. There was no formal seating arrangement, no studied conversation, no careful positioning. Instead, there was Emma talking nonstop about her day at preschool, Jennifer gently reminding her to eat her vegetables, Rose telling stories about Christmases past. The food was simple but delicious. Turkey that was slightly dry but seasoned perfectly, mashed potatoes that Rose swore were better with extra butter, green beans that Emma picked around, and rolls that Jennifer admitted came from the bakery because she'd run out of time to make them from scratch. It was the best meal Harrison had eaten in years. "So what do you do, Harrison?" Rose asked as they ate. "You're dressed pretty fancy for someone with nowhere to go on Christmas." "Mom," Jennifer said warningly. "It's all right," Harrison said. "I run a tech company, software development. I'm good at my job, but apparently not so good at maintaining relationships. Hence the spending Christmas Eve alone at a cafe." "What happened?" Rose asked bluntly. "You get so focused on work you forgot to live?" "Mom!" "It's okay. Harrison said again, surprised by how comfortable he felt with this family's directness. And yes, that's exactly what happened. I built a company but forgot to build a life. By the time I looked up, everyone had moved on without me. It's not too late, Rose said. You're what, 40? 45? 41? Plenty of time to fix things. If you want to. Do you want to? Emma asked, her blue eyes serious. Want to fix things? Harrison looked at this little girl who'd seen a lonely stranger and decided to help. Yeah, he said quietly. I think I do. After dinner, they moved to the small living room. Emma insisted Harrison sit in the best chair, a worn recliner that was clearly Rose's usual